will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Let's go see the elephant. We're on the road, honey. And you can't keep up with me.
Are you ready for a brand new week? Because it's here, and we are here, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, the American Adversaries Drive Time Prime Time Show. Coming to you as live as we can be on FM 105.5 and AM 660. The Answer. We are in the Relax and Comfort Studios. And you can see me and hear me and see whoever else is with me tonight by going to our Facebook page. That's American Adversaries on Facebook. Just scroll down. You'll see a still shot of us in the studio. You'll see the date and the title of tonight's show, or the guest that we have on the show, or whoever's going to be here, or whatever I type in there. And then you just click on that or touch it or whatever your device requires. It takes you to our YouTube channel, which is American Adversaries on YouTube. If you just as soon go directly there, and then you'll be able to see us on YouTube and Facebook now. So once again, we are here live, and don't forget you can still access us on your Alexa devices and or download the free Answer Orlando app in your smart devices. And, of course, also on our website, AmericanAdversaries.com or TheAnswerOrlando.com. All right, got a big show lined up for you tonight. I am the philosopher, political mad scientist, Christopher Hart. And to my left is John Barros. Great to see you again, John.
Oh, man, it's always a blessing to be here.
Yeah, and he's come bearing all kinds of gifts. I see. What is that over there you got?
Well, we got M&Ms today, and we got some red vines. You remember the old red vines?
Yeah, licorice.
Yep.
All right. You the man. You the man.
I know you needed some more health food.
That's right. All right. Nostradamus will be joining us later on, and Aubrey Kahn is hereabouts somewhere, so he'll be in here shortly. Abe Katzman would normally be joining us tonight, but we're going to have Abe Wednesday this week, so make sure you tune in for that on Wednesday. So, of course, tomorrow night is Trumpin' Tuesday, and it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so we do have a big show lined up for you tonight. 407-774-8255 is the number. Jeff is on the bridge. Want to wish Pete a big happy birthday. Man, that birthday cake of his is very good. You need to have a piece of that before you get out of here tonight.
Yeah, I need that.
You better get it soon, though, because there's some pretty healthy vultures around here, buzzards who will eat that thing right up. So happy birthday to Pete. He does a great job around here. Really makes our stuff sound excellent. All right. So we got Trump at the CPAC to talk about. We're going to talk about motive attribution asymmetry. You know how I like these new words and new phrases and stuff. Whenever I see one, I say, whoa, we got to talk about that. Motive attribution asymmetry. I think the people who came up with this, shall we call it diagnosis, would say that pretty much we all suffer from it. So we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the FISA court. And Nostradamus educated us last night on the National Emergencies Act, which was passed in 1976. And here's the irony of it. And this goes back, as I said on the show last night, to something we said on our very first show. I outlined what I called the perverse rules of politics. And one of the first perverse rules of politics is that huge defeats oftentimes turn right around and lead to huge victories. Not all the time, but a lot of times. Also, another perverse rule of politics is a political solution oftentimes makes the problem worse, not better. Take, for example, the National Emergencies Act, passed in 1976. Now, this was post-Nixon, and it was confusing to me as to why Congress would authorize the president, give him all kinds of authority post Nixon. Why would a Democrat Congress do that? Well, we now know, thanks to Nostradamus and a little studying, doing a little homework. Prior to 1976, presidents had exercised emergency authorities previously. I would suggest the most famous example is Abraham Lincoln, when he suspended habeas corpus and did a number of other things during the Civil War. That was emergency authority. Now, granted, it was because of the Civil War, but he did it. The next time was Franklin Roosevelt, and he did it. Nostradamus had the information last night. One time had to do with a particular bill or a strike, and then Harry Truman did it. And then they up in 1976 decide to pass this National Emergencies Act. And it turns out that the purpose of the act was to restrict the use of the emergency authority. Post Nixon, it was meant to restrict, that is, to limit very narrowly the use of the emergency authority. And in order to do so, they were pretty specific about what you couldn't use it for, and the process, and the fact that it has to be renewed on a yearly basis. And we now know that 32 of them are still in effect and still being renewed on a yearly basis, primarily having to do with sanctions on foreign entities, foreign governments, foreign organizations, or foreign individuals. And that the Congress can vote to override it, vote to block the president, which, by the way, the House has already done. And the Senate has said, Mitch McConnell's office has announced that they will vote on it. And it does appear as though there will be enough Republicans that will turn coat and side with the Democrats. I'm pretty sure Mitt Romney will be one. Rand Paul is going to be one. And he is, I'm not surprised, because this sort of thing is not up his alley at all. And he's, he is more libertarian than he is Republican. And I don't think he makes any bones about it. But maybe his is the wiser approach altogether, because I don't think he would approve of this law at all. And the law may yet be struck down. We shall see as part of these legal proceedings as they go forward. But the Senate is going to evidently vote to block, go along with the House and vote to block the president's National Emergency Authority and the use of it anyway in this case. And then he will veto that. And then it will not pass. It will not be able to override his veto. It won't even come close in the House. It might actually come close in the Senate. He might actually get 60 votes to override the president in the Senate. Of course, it takes 67. But you got enough turncoats in the Senate that will buck the president, I do believe. We'll find out. We'll find out. That's for sure. We'll know their names and we'll name them. And by the way, I think that Rand Paul is the only one who has a legitimate excuse amongst the Republicans not to vote with the president. And he doesn't have to vote with the Democrats, although he probably will. He could just simply abstain. But the rest of them, they're just, I think, opportunists. They make this argument that this is the primary argument. We don't want to do this because it will set a precedent for the Democrats. Well, when if the Democrats ever needed a precedent to do anything? Take, for instance, federal judges. Right now, federal judges can be approved in the Senate with a simple majority vote. You do not need the 60-vote cloture override. And that is because Harry Reid did that. And Harry Reid did that so that the Democrats could push their judges through the confirmation process. Prior to that, you needed 60 votes. And the Republicans wouldn't change it. Well, because they don't want to set a precedent. Yeah, the Democrats can come along and use it, see? Well, Harry Reid beat you to it, didn't he? As the president said in his It was a glorious speech at CPAC is all I can say. Just glorious. It was Trump at his best and conservatism at its best. And he said the other night, look, he says, if I don't do it, the Democrats will do it. This precedent stuff, they don't care about that. All they care about is what works for them at the moment. Now, get back to the National Emergencies Act. As I said, it was passed with the intention of restricting the president's use of his already given in the Constitution emergency authority. And yet, the result has been, now, up until the act was passed, you had three, who had exercised some form of emergency authority: Lincoln, Roosevelt, and Truman. Since that act was passed, every single president has utilized it. It's been utilized not 3 times, not less than 3 times, as was evidently the intent. It has been utilized some 59 times, 32 of them still in effect. As I said, reverse rule of politics. Political solutions oftentimes make the problem worse, not better. They meant to restrict the president's use of it. In fact, they encouraged the president's use of it. Thank you very much. This is how the deep state gets deeper, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to side with Rand Paul for a minute. Now, I think that the president is right to invoke this authority as given through the legislation, and I think that he should be able to ride this out through the courts. And maybe the legislature should rethink, if they don't like it, what they have done, because they did it. The president didn't take this authority from them. They gave it to him. And however, I will say this, as I said, this is how the deep state gets deeper. The legislative branch gives over its authority to the executive branch. I brought this up last night. We had a phone call about it, as a matter of fact. Take, for instance, the Obamacare bill. Some 2,000 plus pages as it was, that was just the shell. That was the outline. And they gave over to the Department of Homeland Security, that is to say the executive branch, the deep state, the bureaucracy, the faceless government that works in the shadows, all the authority to write the law. That's the deep state. That's how it has been working recently. The legislative branch is too stupid, lazy, or politically not motivated, or motivated the other way, not to want to sit down and actually write the legislation, so that they write a broad outline and hand it off to the executive branch, where, as I said, you got all these political appointees, and you got just like in our education system and so-called journalism, it is heavily overweighted with liberal thinking, because liberals gravitate towards those kinds of jobs. It's like, so, it's like a moth to a flame. It beckons them, and they go, and they stay. And with them, they bring their attitude. They're only human beings. I'm not, faulting them. I'm just saying that is what perpetuates and propagates the deep state. That's how it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. To get back to the president, as I've said before, he has done us a favor, if nothing else, by pulling out this law and using it to bring some attention to it, so that everybody can look at it and say, maybe that's not such a great idea, or maybe it is a great idea. In any case, as I said, the legislative branch has been for some time giving its authority to the executive branch. And then when they don't like what the executive does, they kick up a fuss about it, which is what we have going on right now. But the president is absolutely correct. We do have a crisis on the border. He once again, in his speech, I'm going to do my phone. It's around here somewhere. In his speech the other night, or other day, I should say, it almost went in tonight, I tell you what, let me take a break. We'll come back, and I'll get into the president's remark at the speech the other night about the crisis on the border, and about how the New York Times today The New York Times corroborated the president's statement of fact. We'll be right back.
FM 105.5 and AM 660. The Answer.
Hey, Central Florida, Dave Ramsey here. When you need advice on your taxes and want to work with someone who has the heart of a teacher, you need to see Larry Herring, CPA. He's one of our tax-endorsed local providers, and he's ready to talk with you about all your income tax needs. Larry Herring will help you manage your taxes just like any other expense. Take it from me, Larry is your guy. 407-647-7777 or at herringcpa.com.
Nearly everyone loves Italian food, but those people who love true, authentic Italian go to Cafe Positano. It's because owner and chef Pasquale Barba offers home-cooked food from his hometown, Positano, Italy. He is Italian. Local fresh items are combined with rare ingredients imported only from Italy, along with generations-old family recipes. Whether it's pizza or those delicious daily specials, taste for yourself at Cafe Positano, 4 miles west of I-4 on 436. 407-774-8080. The most authentic Italian food in Central Florida.
Stuck in traffic? We got the answer.
Answer traffic, I-4 going slow both ways around 192 eastbound I-4 slow. Universal to 436 westbound I-4 slow. Colonial to Kirkman. Got a crash Lee Vista at Cimarron. Turnpike going slow southbound from the beach line to 192 and the beach line going slow around I-4. That's your latest Answer traffic. I'm Dave Dorica.
That's right. We're going down to the swamp. As I said, the swamp is getting deeper and deeper. All right. The president, in his excellent speech at the CPAC conference, that is the Conservative Political Action Conference that Matt Schlapp put on this year. And what a conference it was. He even had Van Jones there as a speaker. And so he spoke because Schlapp invited him because Van Jones actually complimented the president when he passed that judicial reform bill.
I think he did that by accident.
Well, he might have, but he's the only one who did. At least he was man enough to do that.
They're probably excoriating him because of it.
So perhaps that one little act could do something to alleviate motive attribution asymmetry.
Huh?
We're going to get
Speak English.
We're going to get to that shortly. I want to get back to what the president said at the speech, and he covered a multitude of topics. He covered just about all the topics. He covered right to life. He talked about that. Once again, this is the president who has represented the right to life movement more than any other president openly in history. And he also talked about the crisis on the border. He talked about how women give their daughters bottles of birth control pills because 1 out of 3 is going to be raped before she gets during the journey. And, you know, he said this during the State of the Union. Remember, Aubrey? He said this during the State of the Union, and the Washington Post did a fact check on him. You remember what it was? You showed it to me. The Washington Post did a fact check because they were all upset because President Trump said it was 1 in 3 women, and it wasn't 1 in 3. It wasn't 33%. It was 31%. In other words, 3 out of 10 women. All right. They admitted over 3 out of 10 women. All right. So the president says this again on Saturday, that women need to come here with bearing birth control pills because they're going to get raped. The most likely will, or at least 1 out of 3 chance, you might say. 3 out of 10. The New York Times today published an article entitled, "You Have to Pay with Your Body: The Hidden Story of Sexual Assault on the Border." Somebody actually went down there to McClellan, Texas, and did a little research. And what they found was, if anything, it's much worse than what the president has been depicting it to be.
Hold it. What publication did this?
The New York Times.
There's something wrong with this picture.
Isn't there, though? There's been something wrong with this picture for a long time.
The New York Times, I mean, they are left wing.
Maybe somebody down there had an epiphany. Maybe somebody down there finally realized that if they're going to be looking out for the poor old migrant, that they need to really be looking out for the poor migrants. They document in this story, they talk about in one case, they talk about a 36-year-old woman. I believe she was from Honduras. She paid to come here. When she got across the border to what they call a safe house in McClellan, Texas, they decided to put her to work. So first she had to cook for the other immigrants as they were coming through, the men.
Shame.
Right. Well, then the real, shall we say, fun began. Fun for the men, not for her. They took her upstairs and they locked her in a room and they used her as a rape doll, you might say. They used her. That's all she was. She was there to be raped. They wouldn't even let the poor woman take a bath. Now, why you would want to, I don't want to go down that road, but. And that is just one case.
But now,
and then they talked about she was kind of lucky in a way because she was kept in a house. The unlucky ones, this happens out on the range.
Yep.
And what they'll do,
get abandoned out there.
They will tie them to trees. They'll use handcuffs, duct tape, rope, whatever they got. And it's on those trees where the panties are left to show that somebody had come through that way and what had happened to them. This, I suppose, is the moral thing to do. Because according to Nancy Pelosi, the immoral thing to do is to build a wall and prevent this kind of crap from happening in America. This is not what we are supposed to be. And that stupid idiot says the immoral thing to do is to try to prevent this. I wish somebody would drag her down there and take her to one of these safe houses and put her in one of those rooms and let her see up close what is, in her opinion, I suppose, the moral thing to do. The president is right. Once again, his detractors were wrong. And as Aubrey Kahn exhibited, the only shocking thing here is that the New York Times would print such an article. How about that? You're listening to the American Adversaries radio show. We give it to you, and we give it to you. And that's why you keep coming back for more. Thanks for doing that. And then please go to our Facebook page, like us there, and our YouTube channel, American Adversaries on YouTube. Please subscribe to us there, and you'll get an alert whenever we go up live. We'll be right back.
FM 105.5 and AM 660. The Answer.
With SRN News, I'm Ron DeRockstra. 3 House committees are asking the White House and State Department for information on private conversations between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, including an interview with an interpreter who sat in on their Helsinki summit last summer. The requests from the House Intelligence, Foreign Affairs, and Oversight and Reform Committees seek the substance of those conversations and information on whether they affected U.S. foreign policy. Governor Brian Kemp says more than 20 homes in Georgia were destroyed by violent weekend storms that crossed the Deep South and has declared a state of emergency for the hardest hit counties of Grady, Harris, and Talbot. Meanwhile, the death toll in southeast Alabama stands at 23 after an F3 tornado touched down in Lee County yesterday. Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaido defiantly returned to his home in Caracas despite concerns he might be detained by Nicolas Maduro forces. This is SRN News.
News and the latest latest Answer Traffic now.
Here's your latest Answer News update. We've got Dennis Prager coming to town soon, and you can see him live. For more information about how to get your tickets, go to theanswerorlando.com. We've got big changes coming with the I-4 Ultimate Project, one of the downtown ramps closing for a year and a half, and a temporary merging of two other ramps. Tonight, we'll see closures at John Young, Conroy, and Amelia. Look out for Conroy and John Young ramps sharing some space, too. That starts up in the overnight tonight and will be going on. We'll have complete Ultimate I-4 updates throughout the week here on The Answer. Right now, some clouds, mostly dry. We'll be in the upper 60s by 8 o'clock tonight. Have a chance of showers picking up through the overnight. Then we'll wake up Tuesday around 60, some clouds. Chance of showers continuing until early afternoon. Highs Tuesday only getting up to the low 60s. Your answer for the latest local news and traffic. I'm Dave Dorica.
Hello, baby. Be here at 8. Don't be late. Oh, baby, you know what I like.
Mike, what are you doing?
I am getting ready for the karaoke contest on St. Patrick's Day.
That's right, folks. The American Adversaries radio show will be live at the Tijuana Flats in the Winter Springs Town Center Sunday evening, March the 17th from 5 to 8 for our first karaoke contest. Compete for fabulous prizes or just come to watch and join in on the fun. After listening to Mike, I'm hoping someone in our audience can actually sing. So tune up your vocal cords, grab your friends, and get in on our karaoke contest. You pick your song. March the 17th, 5 to 8 p.m., Tijuana Flats, Winter Springs Town Center.
Ain't nothing in the world.
Folks, do you wake up feeling more tired than the night before? Do you toss and turn all night seeking comfort that's not there? Then you need to visit Relax and Comfort. For over 51 years, family-owned and operated Relax and Comfort has helped people sit, sleep, and feel better every day. For instance, with the X10 bed, you and your partner can independently read, sleep, or watch TV in virtually any position you like. At Relax and Comfort, you can also get adjustable number beds and smart pillows that monitor your vital signs as you sleep. They can even tell you how well you're sleeping. Relax and Comfort has a better number bed at a better price. And don't forget to ask about the memory foam mattresses at 50% less than national brands. And if you mention the promo code American Adversaries, you'll get 50% off bamboo bed linen and essential oil pillows all month long. Relax and Comfort has locations in Winter Park, Windermere, Sanford, and the Villages. Visit relaxandcomfort.com or call 321-329-3118. Remember, the quality of your sleep determines the quality of your day. Relaxandcomfort.com, 321-329-3118.
For most Floridians, our home is our biggest investment. If you are shopping for a new home, vacation home, investment property, want to remodel your home, or need to refinance your existing home loan, you need the very best mortgage professionals working for you to make your American dream come true. I'm Mariah Lee with Patriot Home Funding. And regardless of your mortgage needs, Patriot Home Funding has just the right loan for you. All of our loan products offer the lowest possible fixed rates. We don't charge annoying and expensive junk fees, and you get the very best service and care from me and the rest of our experienced all-star team. Contact us today for a quick, easy, and free pre-qualification. You can call us at 877-377-8123 or visit us on the web at myphf.com. At Patriot Home Funding, we finance the American dream.
Patriot Home Funding is a licensed mortgage broker in the state of Florida. NMLS 171699 and is an equal housing lender.
We here at the American Adversaries Radio Network are blessed to have great sponsors like Jerry and Janice Shepard, owners of Jerry's Mercedes-Benz Service Center. And if you have a Mercedes-Benz, you've been blessed to have them as your dealership alternative. With their professionalism and expertise and state-of-the-art technology and facilities, they provide the best of service at the best price. Now, if you have a BMW, you have the same opportunity to have that friendly and reliable and affordable alternative to your dealer. Just like Mercedes-Benz owners who have taken advantage of this option, you BMW owners have a real alternative to high dealer prices and impersonal service. Jerry's MB is located just off Alafaya Trail, just north of UCF. So take that BMW to Jerry's, where they treat you and your car like royalty. Visit them at jerrysmb.com or call 407-366-6499. That's 407-366-6499. Jerry's MB is a proud sponsor of the American Adversaries Radio Show.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer.
Answer traffic, I-4 going slow both ways around 192 eastbound I-4 slow Universal up to 436 and also slow coming out from Lake Mary. Westbound I-4 slow Colonial down to Kirkman. Got a crash 408 eastbound near Alafaya. Turnpike going slow southbound from the beach line down to 192 and the beach line going slow around I-4 and slow eastbound from Jetport to the Greenway. That's your latest Answer traffic. I'm Dave DeRica.
I asked the wise man one sunny day.
All right, welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, you got the American Adversaries. We are here. We are live. Once again, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's American Adversaries on YouTube. And you can message us. You can send us messages on YouTube, and you can still send us messages on Facebook. And you can watch us either place. If you watch us on Facebook, you're not going to get the Facebook feed anymore. You're going to get the YouTube feed. And you have to click on the little still pit shot to get the YouTube feed. That's the bad news. The good news is it's a much higher quality feed. So the resolution and the sound quality should be greatly improved. So once again, that's American Adversaries on Facebook. And please like us while you're there. And American Adversaries channel on YouTube. Okay, got John Barros in the studio with myself, Christopher Hart. Aubrey Kahn is still here about, so he'll be back in shortly. Jeff is on the bridge. 407-774-8255 is the number. Once again, if you tuned in, they usually tune in at this time, and on Mondays, we have Abe Katzman coming to us live from Jerusalem while he's visiting his father in Seattle, and he'll be joining us Wednesday night instead of tonight. Nasser Dennis will be here shortly, and he's going to school us a little bit on the FISA Act. I was just talking about the Emergency Authority Act and how it came to be and its intent, and how its intent didn't turn out to be what happened. It exploded the use of emergency authority, not restricted as evidently or as allegedly it was intended to do. So I'm going through some of the, and I don't have my phone, and that's one where Aubrey is looking for it right now. I wanted to go into this motive attribution asymmetry because it has to do with the political situation that we're in. And I don't have the author in front of me. I don't have any notes. So I'm trusting that we'll find my phone and I'll be able to get these things. I know I had it in the building here, so it is somewhere here about. But anyway, I can roughly describe motion attribution asymmetry. And roughly speaking, it is all of us have pretty much experienced it since President Trump became president. It is the hyper political state, basically, in which we live. All right. Normal political times are already kind of stormy. The author says that motive attribution asymmetry is much more akin to a hurricane going on in our political discourse, and that we are all in our own ways suffering from it. We all know someone, if not ourselves, who don't talk to someone or don't associate with someone anymore, simply because President Trump is president, and we're on different sides of the way that we look at that occurrence in history. And what most motive attribution asymmetry, in essence, tries to do is spread the blame. The way I understand it, to spread the blame amongst us all. And I would have to, in one sense, I'm tempted to agree, but then in another sense, wait a minute. I mean, who are the ones who can't accept the election of a president? Right? Who are the ones who are fighting to kill, as President Trump put it the other day, precious babies fresh out of the womb? Right?
Exactly.
Are we on a par with them? I have to at the risk of exacerbating motive attribution asymmetry, I must have to say that at some point, the discussion gets down to right versus wrong and good versus evil. And when people are arguing that it is okay, it is within the purview of human beings to deny life to another human being and have that somehow sanctioned by the state, that is not right. I would have to classify that as evil. What about you?
Yes, sir.
I mean, you see it up close every day, right?
Yes, sir.
What do they do with the aborted babies when they're finished with them down there to the center?
They come pick them up on Fridays.
I mean, what do the people in the center do? What do they do to prepare them for transportation?
They throw them in a freezer.
And then what?
And
I mean, they don't just throw them on the back of the truck in human flesh. What do they do?
Oh, they put them in cardboard boxes.
Cardboard boxes. And then what do? Label them on top fragile?
No.
I guess
no,
not.
They label it medical waste.
Medical waste.
Yep.
Human beings being labeled as medical waste, ladies and gentlemen. And then where do they go?
They go to, in the past, it's always been an incinerator.
Is it a crematory? Do they at least go to a crematory, or do they just go down to the local dump where they burn this trash?
Yeah, that's what they have them on their sites, but yeah, it just goes.
It's medical waste trash.
Yeah, they get burnt.
Right, but not in a crematory.
No.
Well, where human beings are.
No.
Right. We're not on a par with that, ladies and gentlemen. And if that means that I'm making motive attribution asymmetry worse, then so be it. We're not on a par with a woman who would say that it is immoral to try to prevent 36-year-old Honduran women from being repeatedly raped until I guess she was no fun anymore, so then they let her go. And how often is that happening? Right now. It's happening right now. You just look at the numbers. It's all about numbers. It's happening right now. Right now, women on the border are being subjected to being raped. Right now, as we speak. And Nancy Pelosi wants to sit on her not big fat, she ain't all that fat, but she wants to sit on her butt and let it happen. Well, she ain't got to worry about it happening to her. Nobody in her family, does she? Right? All she's got to worry about is winning the House and stopping President Trump. That is what her life is all about. We are not on a par with that, ladies and gentlemen. Even when Barack Obama was in power, and people would call up here and say, oh, Barack Obama, he'll never leave office. He's going to call for martial law. I'd talk him off the ledge. I'd say, no. You see, our form of government was made with people like Barack Obama in mind. Our form of government was made to be balanced, but it was also made to serve the needs of the people. And the deep state only serves the deep state. And the needs of the people come second. If that, maybe third to illegals, some would argue. But this is the situation. If there is a hurricane a-blowing, it's because we are so far out of balance. And the balance isn't going to be regained by us becoming more like them. We can't go down that road. There is no compromise with killing children. Sorry. Ain't going to do it. There is no compromise with standing by and allowing women and children to be repeatedly raped for the pleasure of other illegal immigrants, and I would imagine probably even some Americans. Heck, you just ask Robert Kraft. I don't know if I would call that rape, but if those women were there against their will, it sure is something. And it ain't square dancing. So, until the other side comes to their senses we're going to have motive attribution asymmetry because we have to stand in opposition to this. John, don't you basically stand in opposition to evil every day down there? Isn't that really what you're all about? Standing in opposition to what is going on inside that building?
Absolutely.
Do you see success?
Absolutely.
Is it easy?
No.
Do you see failure?
Yes.
You see it all, don't you?
You see everything.
Would you give it up?
Never.
Do you think that you've wasted your time?
Never.
In just any one day down there, you wasted your day?
Never.
So it's worth the fight, isn't it?
It is worth the fight.
Even if we lose?
We're not going to lose because God's on our side.
God's on our side, but I would say it's worth the fight, especially if we lose.
Oh, you mean, right. If it looked, yes.
Right? Because at the end...
It could look like we lose, but we really don't actually.
But isn't God also testing us?
Yes.
Isn't he looking and down and he's saying, who is going to stand up for me?
Yes.
And who's going to stand strong when the wind was blowing hard against them?
Yep.
Well, that's who we want to be. We want to be like John.
No.
Well, what I mean by that is, we want to be strong, solid, and enduring in our faith. And if we do so, it'll rub off. And that's what happens down there. John, I know you evangelize down there, but really what I think these people see, and I'm just guessing, they see this faith in you. And it dawns on them that it's real.
Yeah, many have said that.
How about that? Did you ever tell me that?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. All right. I was just guessing, so I just want to be sure. So, a
lot of these people have never had anybody stand up for anything.
That's just it.
You know what I mean? The guys especially.
Yeah.
They're like lost in this world.
Because we try to prevent them from having to stand up for anything.
Right.
Right. We
they all got the trophies even for losing.
Exactly. If you don't, I forget which boxer said this. I want to say Sugar Ray Leonard, but it may be somebody else. But they said, look, if you don't have, obstacles in your life, you'll never become strong. You'll never really know your true self. And yet we try to prevent, our young from having any obstacles in their life. Heaven forbid they have any, sadness or anything like that.
Yep.
Well, that's what really makes character. Winning doesn't make character. Being tied doesn't make character. Losing makes character. And that's why everybody experiences it in one form or another in their life. Even the people who win everything, it seems like, they lose. They lose. All right. I have not lost track of time, but I do see the clock has gone to zeros. So we will take a break. You are listening to the American Adversaries Radio Show. We are here. We are live, and we'll be right back.
FM 105.5, AM 660. The Answer.
Spring is almost here. That means it's time for the 35th annual All British Car Show on Saturday, April 6th, featuring all makes of British cars, both classic and contemporary. Come see these magnificent machines and help judge them at the pavilions in Central Winds Park in beautiful Winter Springs. Four Rivers Barbecue, Tijuana Flats, and Jeremiah's Ice will provide the food. The cars, judging, vendors, and lots more will provide the fun. And there's a playground for the kids. Admission is free. Saturday, April 6th, 9 to 4. For more info, go to allbritishcarclub.com or Central Florida British Car Club on Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that one of the biggest investments we'll make in life is the house we choose to make our home. So why make this investment without knowing exactly what you're getting into? That's where Aubrey Kahn of Firm Foundation Home Inspections comes in. He'll make sure that excitement over the purchase of a house or rental property or commercial property doesn't turn into a nightmare after you take the keys. To get the most thorough and complete inspection, go to orlandoshomeinspector.com or just call Aubrey Kahn at 321-624-0254. Don't roll the dice on your home purchase. Remember, call Aubrey Kahn at 321-624-0254.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer.
Answer traffic. I-4 slow both ways around 192 eastbound I-4 slow from Universal to 436. Also slow coming out from Lake Mary. Westbound I-4 slow Colonial to Kirkland. Got a crash OBT at Land Street. 429 northbound slow coming out from the Turnpike. Turnpike slow southbound from the Beach Line to 192. Beach Line slow around I-4 and slow eastbound from Jetport to the Greenwood. That's your latest Answer traffic. I'm Dave Dorico.
Big girls don't cry. Big girls don't cry. Big girls.
I don't know where that came from. All right.
Nostradamus arrived.
Did you tell him to play that?
No,
You got to get that microphone on.
Hey, turn my mic on, Jeff. Come on. Bada bing, bada boom.
There you go. All right. Well, we're here. We're back. We were talking about something a little less lighthearted than that, but nonetheless, big girls, I guess, do cry sometimes. Anyways, the Nostradamus has joined us in the studio, obviously. We were talking about this motive attribution asymmetry, which, as I said, I believe is a fairly lame attempt to blame the political climate on, quote unquote, all of us, which means actually Trump and Trump supporters.
Isn't that called moral relativism?
It would be.
Yeah.
And in fact, what we are up against is people who, as I said, are preaching that we should be killing babies and allowing rape houses on our border because, heaven forbid, we have a wall and prevent that sort of thing from happening.
And heaven forbid we should take other people's cultures, if you want to call that a culture,
right,
and make them feel less than ours.
Right. And then we take the break, and John Barros shows me a couple of videos. When were those taken?
Last Thursday.
You guys sit up to the mic. Last Thursday. All right. And in the video, there's a man with a woman, and they are in the face of, who was the guy that they were in the face of? Just first name.
James.
James, who was down there to help you that
yes.
day? Okay. And James looks like a fairly young fella, maybe in his 20s. And he's down there. And this other fella, who's bigger than James, about twice his size, in fact, is in his face, yelling at him, calling him names,
threatening his life, and, doing with his finger, the sort of the gun thing, pointing it at his head, right in his face. And his girlfriend or his wife, whatever, is kind of trying to pull him away as they're trying to go where? They're going where as he's yelling at this guy? To go inside.
To go inside the center for
an abortion.
So he's taking his girl in there to get an abortion, and he's all in y'all's face. And he looks over at you shooting the video. He's like, I got a phone too, MFer. I got a phone too. And you're saying, well, bring it. So he's very angry. He's very animated. He goes inside. What happens next?
Well, I started preaching, and 3/4 of the way through the sermon, to mine and James and Karen's absolute shock, he drags his lady out on the porch, literally places her in the chair, and then begins pointing his finger at her and screaming and yelling that we can't do this. This is not right. We need to get out of this place. And his lady is just sitting there with literally her jaw hanging down by her knees somewhere.
She's not believing what she's hearing.
Not believing, seeing what God did in this guy's heart. And in just a matter of minutes, it was so amazing.
And what did he turn to you and then say anything to you folks?
No, because whenever that kind of a person is there, when they're leaving, because a lot of these guys them and their lady will choose life, but I'm really hard on these guys. And so I send a lady over to them. So Karen went over when they drove up, and they actually had her pray for them. But if people could see the video, I mean, the only way to see it would be to go to my Facebook page. But
all right,
if you could see the change of what God did in a guy.
Did you do anything different today? In other words, did you soften your rhetoric? Did you soften your preaching because of the aggressive nature that he showed?
Never.
So you didn't back down?
Never.
The
minute you back down, you're going to lose. a guy like that will be all over you. But if you stand there and you stand your ground, and I was so proud of James.
So the lesson here is for all of us. I understand that we're in a political hurricane, that times are pretty bad right now. I mean, we've all experienced someone that we don't associate with anymore because of Trump.
Could be friend, could be family, could even be a spouse.
And maybe more.
Yeah.
But if they're going to go down the road of Nancy Pelosi and bucking Trump just to buck Trump and put themselves on that side of the equation, you can't break weak with them. You just it's got to be tough love. I'm sorry. But as John said, if you give in, you break it.
You can't give in.
No.
That's when you lose.
That's when you lose.
When you stop trying to fight.
And I wish you could see this video. I mean, he set me up perfectly. He goes, after he shows me the video, he goes, you know why I put that video on there? And of course, I'm thinking, Bill, because if he actually does something, you want the police to be able to identify him or something like that. He goes, no, he says the guy brought his lady out. And I'm what? But that goes to what we're talking about here. We can't give in to these people who want to murder babies.
No, sir.
We got to stand up to that with the faith of knowing that some of those who are saying this are going to wise up. They're going to get it. God is going to speak to them just as they did to this guy.
Evil uses fear.
It does.
And fear is a liar.
Indeed. Indeed.
You know, I always get, I never back down, cannot back down. You cannot back down or you will lose. It'll become chaos in a very quick point in time. But I can't tell you how many guys like gangbangers and stuff that even when they, even if they go through with it, after I've said what I say to them, they really can't believe it, honestly, that what I say to them.
Because they're not used to being challenged.
They'll come out at the end, even if they did it, they'll do this thing, which means I respect you. And
he was just doing a hand motion across his chest there.
And you can't back down.
And there's no point in it. Once again, it's just sort of a matter of tough love. You were showing them tough love, right?
Yeah, they know I love them.
Right.
You know what the crime was for that guy to get all blown up like that?
What?
We told him that we could help him. And we had a place they could go for free doctor and all that. And that's when he went. Just
options. No options.
That's what set him off. Huh?
Yeah.
But it's amazing what can happen. And John does this once again every day. If you want to join him down there and see what he does, Lucerne Terrace, just south of downtown Orlando. And it's going to be a little chilly a couple mornings this week. Some large coffee with cream only from Dunkin' Donuts would be nice, right? When it heats back up, he likes orange Gatorade. I prefer orange myself, by the way. But this is this is serious stuff. But all we have to do is stand strong and firm and don't give in. And the storm will pass, but those who stand strong and firm will be the ones who are left standing. The ones who break weak, they're going to get blown away with the wind. So motive, attribution, and symmetry, or whatever you want to call it, I call it a battle between good and evil, and we can't lose or we can't give up. I don't know if we're going to win or lose, but I do know we can't give up. All right. I do know this, too. We're out of time in this hour of the show. We got a whole nother hour to go. You got the American Adversaries coming right back at you.
News, opinion, passion. FM 105.5, AM 660. The Answer. WORL. Altamont Springs, Orlando. A service of Salem Media Group. It's 6 o'clock.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Ron DeRockstra. House Democrats are expanding their investigation of alleged obstruction of justice by the Trump administration.
The House Judiciary Committee is requesting documents from more than 60 people connected to the administration, as well as family members and business associates. Among those targeted are the president's son, Donald Trump Jr., Trump Organization Chief Financial Officer Alan Weisselberg, former White House Chief of Staff John Kelly, and former White House counsel Don McGahn. In a tweet on Sunday, President Trump called the investigation a partisan probe aimed at discrediting his 2016 election.
Capitol Hill correspondent Wally Hines reporting. Also at srnnews.com, the Governor Brian Kemp says more than 20 homes in Georgia were destroyed by violent weekend storms that crossed the Deep South. He declared a state of emergency for the hardest hit counties of Grady, Harris, and Talbot. Meanwhile, the death toll in southeast Alabama stands at 23 after an F3 tornado touched down in Lee County yesterday. Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky joining other Republicans who say they'll support a measure opposing President Trump's national emergency declaration.
Senator Paul joins a list of Republicans who believe the declaration ignores the separation of powers laid out in the Constitution. In spearheading the effort among Republicans, Senator Susan Collins of Maine said the concerns go well beyond funding for a border wall.
It is not whether to support or oppose President Trump.
Senator Paul wrote in a Fox editorial he believes the declaration extends the powers of the presidency beyond their constitutional limits. Bob Agnew reporting.
House Democrats will vote this week on a resolution condemning one of their own for remarks largely regarded as anti-Israel. The resolution still being finalized comes after freshman Democrat Ilhan Omar criticized pro-Israel members of Congress for, in her words, allegiance to a foreign country. More at townhall.com.
News and the latest Answer Traffic now.
Here's your latest Answer News update. Dennis Prager is coming to town soon, and you have your chance to see him live and in person. To find out how to get your tickets to see him live, it's theanswerorlando.com for more information. If your kid's going to kindergarten this fall in Orange County, it's time to register. Orange County Public Schools early registration going on right now through Saturday, March the 9th. For more information, go by kindergarten.ocps.net. You're going to need to show proof of the child's age, immunization, and medical records, and you'll also need to show that you live in the area. We've got some clouds. We're mostly dry. We're going to be in the upper 60s by 8 tonight. Chance of showers picking up through the overnight. Then we'll wake up Tuesday around 60 degrees. Chance of showers up until the early afternoon. Highs Tuesday only getting to the low 60s. Your answer for the latest local news and traffic. I'm Dave DeRica.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer.
Answer traffic. I-4 slow both ways around 192 and coming out from Lake Mary. Eastbound I-4 slow from the beach line up to 434. Westbound I-4 slow from Princeton to Kirkman. Got a crash OBT at Lamb Street. John Young at Conroy. 429 slow both ways coming out from the Turnpike. Turnpike slow southbound from the beach line to 192. Beach line slow around I-4 and slow eastbound from Jetport to the Greenway. That's your latest answer traffic. I'm Dave DeRica.
FM 105.5, AM 660, The Answer. AccuWeather forecast.
Cooler tonight with low clouds and a low of 56. Noticeably cooler tomorrow, partly cloudy with a shower in the area, high 65. Clear skies tomorrow night, low 42. Then a cool day on Wednesday with plenty of sunshine and a high of 63. I'm Holly Holdren, FM 105.5 and AM 660, The Answer.
With an outdated website and poor Google rankings, your competition is getting your potential customers. You need a marketing company who treats you like family. At JJC Marketing Solutions, we provide state-of-the-art websites, search engine optimization, and social media campaigns that work. Call me, Matt Buff, at 321-765-7710 and mention this ad to get your first month free. At JJC Marketing Solutions, we will make your website awesome again. We will make your social media work again. And yes, we will make your online marketing great again. Visit jjcmarketingsolutions.com or call 321-765-7710 today.
Ladies and gentlemen, step right up.
January 20th, 2017 will be remembered as the day the people became the rulers of this nation again. We assembled here today are issuing a new decree to be heard in every city, in every foreign capital, and in every hall of power. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. We do not seek to impose our way of life on anyone, but rather to let it shine as an example. We will shine for everyone to follow. There should be no fear. We are protected, and we will always be protected. We will be protected by the great men and women of our military and law enforcement. And most importantly, we will be protected by God. We stand at the birth of a new millennium, ready to unlock the mysteries of space, to free the earth from the miseries of disease, and to harness the energies, industries, and technologies of tomorrow. A new national pride will stir our souls, lift our sights, and heal our divisions. Your voice, your hopes, and your dreams will define our American destiny. Together, we will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Let's go see the elephant. We're on the road, runner, honey. And you can't keep up with me.
All right, welcome back to the American Adversaries, and welcome to hour number 2. That's right, of our drive time now primetime show. That's right, folks. We are here. We are live in the Relax and Comfort Studios here in Central Florida.
Back in the studio. Your phone.
Yes, indeed. And we did. I found it on the floor under the desk where I had evidently dropped it, and it bounced away under the shadows.
Oh, Aubrey's back too.
All right.
Yeah, I just spent the last 45 minutes looking for this phone.
I tell you, this is who else would do that but Aubrey Kahn?
He thought it might be
in the worst kind of ways. I don't know. I can't see that as being on a par with us. Even if everything they said about us was true, and it's not. Even if it's true,
but
they stand up for that.
These are the same people that want to be able to murder babies once they're born.
Right.
But don't you dare kill a person by giving them the death sentence for committing murder.
Don't you dare.
That's inhuman.
Don't you dare kill a cow to eat it. Is what it's getting to.
Well, don't you dare have a cow because it fought.
That's because of all you vegetarians.
Yeah, well,
that's true.
It's Chris's fault.
It's Chris's fault.
I'm guilty of being a vegetarian, but I gave up a long time ago thinking that the world needs to be vegetarian, right? If it works for some people, it doesn't work for everybody. Yeah. If you look at the teeth in our head, we got both. We got teeth made for eating meat. We got teeth made for eating grain.
Okay, so why aren't you eating meat? No.
He's letting his molars rest.
That's it. That's it. All I can say is I've almost never had a case of acid indigestion since I quit eating meat.
Really?
Yes.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't eat. Look at him. He's like a rail.
And going to the bathroom is seldom a chore. I'll just leave it at that.
Way too much information. Thank you. Thank you anyway, Chris.
Go to the bathroom seldom.
Let's get back to motive attribution asymmetry. Because the author says that it's okay to disagree. He said, but we got to disagree. As he says, we have to disagree better. And basically what that means is we have to see the other side as on more of a equal footing with us, morally speaking, and not be so contemptuous.
Hard to do.
But that's hard to do, especially when you're talking about killing babies, keeping the border open, wanting to be a socialist nation.
Doing everything there is to destroy what defines us as the United States of
exactly.
America.
But the Democrat Party, the liberals, the socialists, they have this thing. Yes, everybody's equal, but some are more equal than others.
I read that in a book.
Yeah.
Right.
Animal Farm.
We can strive not to treat others with contempt. I don't think, John, for instance, you're contemptuous down there as much as you are expressing outrage when you talk to like these guys who come in and you really ride on them.
Well, yeah, because at the very core of what a man is, it's someone that is to protect their ladies, protect their children.
You're You're exhorting them to be a man.
Right? You're prodding them to try to be better. It's not
Man
because
up.
you hate them. If you hated them, you would ignore them.
Right. Exactly. And that's what I see. I call that tough love. I don't call that contemptuous. He also says, finally, we should see the contempt around us as what it truly is. And by the way, talking heads on TV, talking heads on radio, we're part of the problem, according to this. Well, we're trying to be a part of the solution. But when we're up against people who want to kill babies, who want to destroy our economy, destroy our country, flush the Constitution down the toilet, keep the border open, as I said, so women can be raped and children can be misused as well. I don't know.
You know what?
I think I'll just continue to do what I'm doing. Thank you very much.
The liberals will probably allow you to do all of that, provided they can get rid of the Electoral College.
Yeah. Well, see, what we seek to do is entertain, educate, enlighten, and hopefully get you engaged. And I don't know. Once again, we're in a battle. And whichever side you're on, you see the other side is evil. But I refer back to what John sees. When those people come in there and they're yelling at you, they're not yelling at you because they think you're nice, right? They're yelling at you because they think you're evil. They think you're the worst thing that ever happened. They call you all kinds of names. They get in your face. They spit on you.
And you're not yelling the same things back at them.
No.
He's standing there as man. Truth.
I mean, I yell it back at them.
Right.
But not the same things.
You're preaching back at them.
Yeah.
And once again, calling on these men to stand up and be men and stand up for their women.
Yep.
And calling on the women to stand up for their children who they're carrying in the womb.
And the other day, we actually had 3 in one day.
3 what?
Men that led their ladies out of there.
Is that right?
Yes.
Were any of them military? Because I know you really kind of come down on
I really do come down on the military. In fact, that guy I showed you that video of, in part of my sermon, I was going after him, and I said, my dear friend, Colonel Danny McKnight, would stand here and tell you to remember who you are. Remember who you are. Remember who you were as a soldier. Remember, the very...
And it turns out this guy evidently was. That was one of the threats that he was using. I killed people for 13 years, he said, as he was pointing with his finger at the guy right in the guy's face. Yeah. And he came out and brought his lady out.
He did. It's so amazing. Usually, so many of the times that somebody's like that, God is already at work in them, and they are.
And what was kind of interesting too is you said he brought his lady out. He set her down in the chair and then proceeded to lecture her.
He started yelling at her like he was at James.
Exactly. And but in the opposite vein.
Yeah. Saying we can't do this. This is wrong.
And that was to make sure that everybody saw him do it.
I don't think. I think he was totally oblivious to where he was at that point.
You think?
Yeah. Because we don't say a word. We always figure when that's going on, God's way better at this than I am. I just keep my mouth shut.
If the decision's been made, don't get in the way.
That's right. You don't know.
By the way, if you don't think that some people on the other side are pure evil, how about this story about a college professor and his recommendation? Nostradamus, if you would, please. This is a story we had Friday we didn't get to.
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me pull it out. Okay. We've got it here. If you haven't heard of Joshua Clover before now, allow me to introduce him.
This is no 4-leaf clover here.
No, he is not. He is a tenured professor at UC Davis, University of California, and the author of nearly a dozen books. Tenured professor means he can do or say basically whatever he wants, and he can't get fired. Well, he decided before taking his Twitter account private, he really enjoyed mixing it up with other users, including a number of charming tweets where he wished that more police officers would be murdered. Even in California, that was a little bit too extreme for some, but Clover remains on the faculty to this day. UC Davis is condemning this professor's statements, but they have not taken the next step of removing him from his job.
By the way, they can take him out of the classroom and still have him employed there. Having tenure doesn't mean they have to put him back in the classroom. Now, you say he took the tweets down?
He took his entire Twitter account private, which means only those who follow him can see what he writes, and they can't forward or retweet them to the rest of the world.
Right. You got to follow him, and then he's got to approve you and basically put you in his little club there. So presumably he didn't take them down. At least he has not issued a public apology, I take it?
No. And in fact, if you look at some of the books that he's written, one of them is called Riot, Strike, Riot. It laments the inherent evils of capitalism, and it praises those who would resort to violent tactics to tear it down.
Uh-huh.
Another book consists of, get this.
And we're not supposed to look at that with contempt.
No,
but since he is all against Western civilization, he loves communism. Let's drop his salary to that of the average man.
Right.
See how quickly he reacts.
It would be a big drop, by the way. Another book he wrote called Red Epic. You'll like this one, Chris. It consists of violent poetry that sings the praises of Marxism. So, compared to that, saying shooting cops that isn't any big deal.
Does he play the bongos too? I mean, come on.
I'll pay for his ticket to Venezuela.
A spokesman for UC Davis hid behind the First Amendment and said public statements like those made by Professor Clover are accorded a high level of protection under our Constitution.
And I'm not saying he shouldn't have the right to say them. As a matter of fact, I'm glad that he said them because it demonstrates what I'm talking about here. It demonstrates who we are against. A guy calling for the murder of police officers. In some places, you'd probably get arrested for that.
That line of thinking reminds me of a design for a T-shirt that I saw today on the internet. And I don't know how much the T-shirt is. I'm not planning on buying one. It's a white on black T-shirt. And it has a raised middle finger.
You can do that on YouTube.
Hi, Facebook and YouTube Live. This is what this T-shirt says. And it says, erase the hate. F Trump, but they don't say F.
Right.
And F everybody who voted for him.
That'll do it.
Let's erase the hate,
That'll
shall we?
erase the hate, right. They obviously are suffering from motive attribution asymmetry.
So we should treat them nice and fairly.
Yes, we can disagree with them, but we have to disagree with them better. I can think of a few better ways of disagreeing with that kind of nonsense. By the way, the ISIS bride who wanted to make her way back into the United States, her father has been seeking court I'll call it intervention in this case. A federal judge today has denied the bride. He has put the ISIS bride on ice, you might say. He denied an expedited hearing. She'll get a hearing, but she's going to have to wait in line and do it in due time. And evidently, she does not have a valid passport.
No, because she had to surrender it when she joined ISIS.
Well, I hope she likes being on ice because that's where she's going to be tonight.
Where is she staying?
She's in a refugee camp, I think, in Syria, unless she's been moved somewhere else.
She can always go somewhere in Europe.
She'll be in that limbo for a while then while she awaits a hearing.
Yeah. All right. In the meantime, we will take a break. When we come back, we got some other stories for you, too. Plus, we're going to explore the FISA court. All right. Nostradamus has been doing a little digging. We're going to see what he dug up. We'll be right back.
FM 105.5 and AM 660. The Answer.
Marilee here from Vacation Travel Planners, a member of Cruise Planners with the latest vacation deals.
Like Bahama cruises from $249 per person. Or how about a 7-night Alaska cruise from $649 per person? On Celebrity Cruises, book a balcony or higher on a 7-night select Caribbean, Europe, or Alaska sailings and receive specialty dinner for 2. Get free prepaid gratuities on select sailings with Oceanic Cruises. Sandals and Beaches all-inclusive resorts are up to 65% off. Get free prepaid gratuities on select Avalon Waterways River Cruises.
Give us a call at 321-251-4777. That's 321-251-4777. Or visit us at vacationtravelplanners.com. Keep listening to the American Adversaries for new travel specials every week. Bon voyage!
Nearly everyone loves Italian food. But those people who love true, authentic Italian go to Cafe Positano. It's because owner and chef Pasquale Barba offers home-cooked food from his hometown Positano, Italy. He is Italian. Local fresh items are combined with rare ingredients imported only from Italy, along with generations-old family recipes. Whether it's pizza or those delicious daily specials, taste for yourself at Cafe Positano, 4 miles west of I-4 on 436. 407-774-8080. The most authentic Italian food in Central Florida.
For most Floridians, our home is our biggest investment. If you are shopping for a new home, vacation home, investment property, want to remodel your home, or need to refinance your existing home loan, you need the very best mortgage professionals working for you to make your American dream come true. I'm Mariah Lee with Patriot Home Funding. And regardless of your mortgage needs, Patriot Home Funding has just the right loan for you. All of our loan products offer the lowest possible fixed rates. We don't charge annoying and expensive junk fees, and you get the very best service and care from me and the rest of our experienced all-star team. Contact us today for a quick, easy, and free pre-qualification. You can call us at 877-377-8123 or visit us on the web at myphf.com. At Patriot Home Funding, we finance the American dream.
Patriot Home Funding is a licensed mortgage broker in the state of Florida. NMLS 171699 and is an equal housing lender.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down to the big lake they call Gitchagumi. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. That good ship and true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early.
All right, welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I love that tune, right? And of course, the mariners see the sea, see the oceans as sort of like, what do they call it? The lady. They give it sort of human attributes. Well, Nostradamus has a story about Lake Erie. Now, was it Lake Erie that the Edmund Fitzgerald went down in?
Superior, they said, never gives up her
They're dead.
Come
That's
on,
right.
it's a different lake. By the way, I think we should perform a little mode of attribution asymmetry on Lake Superior because it's making all the other lakes feel less than. What makes you so superior?
That's right.
Microaggression.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Who named that lake?
Anyway, the voters of Toledo, Ohio, approved a Lake Erie Bill of Rights as an amendment to their city charter, a measure to give the lake and its watershed legal rights that can be defended in court. A local farm immediately filed a lawsuit challenging the measure as unlawful, and the Ohio Farm Bureau vowed to support the lawsuit. The measure was approved last week after winning approval by 61% of the voters. I got several questions about this. The first one is, how do we know Lake Erie is American? Because it straddles the border between Canada and the U.S. What does it have, dual citizenship?
It must now, anyway, right?
Also, where does it vote? Because it adjoins Michigan, it adjoins Ohio, it adjoins Pennsylvania, it adjoins New York. Forget about it.
So does that mean the L in LGBTQ now means lake?
It could be a lake.
Okay.
It depends how it feels.
We have got now to, we'd already gone through bestowing rights on animals. Now we're at lakes.
Yeah. And now,
see, I would have gone to trees first before lakes, from animals to trees and then to lakes.
But what's the last name you would give the tree because it's part of a forest, which is the family name?
The family tree, yeah. That's right. And here's a question. If someone sues this lake and the lake loses, do we put the lake in jail? Well, we put locks on it.
Here's another thing. If a person drowns in the lake, it's murder.
No, the lake can be held liable, right?
Put it to death. Give the lake the death sentence.
Here's the sad thing. So Toledo voted to give rights to a body of water.
Mm-hmm.
And yet
No rights
We
to
will
a
not-
baby
we will
in the
not-
womb.
Yeah, right.
A baby that is born now in some places does not have rights and can be terminated if its mother and a doctor say it's
Well,
okay.
you know, I wrote a little bit about that on Feces book the other day, because if an illegal citizen comes here and gives birth, that baby automatically has American citizenship and protection by law.
Yep, it's valuable.
But if you're an American citizen and you give birth here,
it's
that
optional.
baby has no rights whatsoever.
Well, it does, but nonetheless,
It can be murdered, and that's okay.
Well, you got me there. So the lake has rights, but a newborn does not. And the baby in the womb does not. Okay. Thank you very much, people of Toledo.
Holy Toledo.
Holy Toledo. Very good. Very good, Nostradamus.
I don't know if you guys did you ever notice because I noticed that the Trump administration approved another year, but did you know they have humanized mice at the University of San Francisco or UC San Francisco?
Humanized?
Look it up on your phone right now. They have,
Well, I knew they had already humanized rats. Just look at Michael Cohen the other day.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is a whole different thing. This is taking aborted baby parts,
tissue,
livers, and that they're placing them in mice, and then they are trying to
recreate.
No, to look at how to fight certain like HIV or these kind of things. But still, I mean, aborted babies being joined into mice. Did you ever think in your wildest imagination?
Well, this is what they were doing in Nazi Germany during the Second World War.
All kinds of strange
They were
experiments.
doing all kinds
on-
of strange
on the Jewish
experiments.
prisoners,
They were impregnating the Jewish women and making them give birth, and they were taking those babies and experimenting on them.
Here we are again. All right, we'll take a break. You are listening to the American Adversaries radio show on a Monday evening. I was going to say Sunday because we got Aubrey Kahn, Nostradamus in here, got Jeff on the bridge.
But it's Monday because it's John Barros.
That's right.
There's an interloper.
JB is in. By the way, Abe Katzman is going to join us Wednesday this week. And the election campaigning and the rhetoric is really heating up over there in Israel. It may be a taste of things to come here in America. And they may have to do the election again. It may not get her done. All right, well, we're going to get her done during the break and come back on the other side with more of the American Adversaries radio show. Don't forget, please follow us and like us on Facebook. That's American Adversaries on Facebook.
FM 105.5 and AM 660. The Answer.
With SRN News, I'm Ron DeRockstra. The death toll from a tornado that hit southeastern Alabama over the weekend remains at 23 after a full day of searching through the rubble in Lee County. Meanwhile, Georgia's governors declared states of emergency for 3 counties hardest hit by storms there over the weekend. Temperatures and snow started to melt a bit today after a large snowstorm closed schools and slowed the morning commute throughout the northeastern U.S. The National Weather Service is warning the temperatures will plunge below freezing overnight, raising the risk of dangerously icy conditions. More snow could also be on the way Friday or Saturday for the Boston area. Democrats launched a sweeping new probe of President Trump today. House Judiciary Committee Chair Gerald Nadler says his panel was beginning inquiries into possible obstruction of justice, corruption, and abuse of power by sending document requests to 81 people linked to the president and his associates. This is SRN News.
Hello, baby. Be here at 8. Don't be late. Oh, baby, you know what I like.
Mike, what are you doing?
I am getting ready for the karaoke contest on St. Patrick's Day.
That's right, folks. The American Adversaries radio show will be live at the Tijuana Flats in the Winter Springs Town Center Sunday evening, March the 17th from 5 to 8 for our first karaoke contest. Compete for fabulous prizes or just come to watch and join in on the fun. After listening to Mike, I'm hoping someone in our audience can actually sing. So tune up your vocal cords, grab your friends, and get in on our karaoke contest. You pick your song. March the 17th, 5 to 8 p.m., Tijuana Flats, Winter Springs Town Center.
Ain't nothing in the world.
Do you suffer from lower back pain? Do you ache worse after sitting in a regular chair? Are you one of 80% of Americans who suffer debilitating back pain sometime in your life? Then you need to try the perfect chair at Relax and Comfort. Designed after the NASA G couch for astronauts, the perfect chair offers you comfort that no other chair can. Sitting in an average chair places over 8 times more pressure on your spine than standing. The effects of this over time cause the average person to shrink 1 to 2 inches, but not with the perfect chair. It's motorized and has individual elevation for the head and feet, providing you with every option you need for a pain-free experience. So try the perfect chair at Relax and Comfort and ask about no-interest financing. Mention the promo code American Adversaries and get 50% off Maloof bamboo bed linens or essential oil sleep pillows all month. Relax and Comfort is family-owned and operated and has locations in Winter Park, Windermere, Sanford, and the Villages. Go to relaxandcomfort.com or call 321-329-3118. Get your perfect chair and enjoy blessed relief and unparalleled comfort today. We here at the American Adversaries Radio Network are blessed to have great sponsors like Jerry and Janice Shepard, owners of Jerry's Mercedes-Benz Service Center. And if you have a Mercedes-Benz, you've been blessed to have them as your dealership alternative. With their professionalism and expertise and state-of-the-art technology and facilities, they provide the best of service at the best price. Now, if you have a BMW, you have the same opportunity to have that friendly and reliable and affordable alternative to your dealer. Just like Mercedes-Benz owners who have taken advantage of this option, you BMW owners have a real alternative to high dealer prices and impersonal service. Jerry's MB is located just off Alafaya Trail, just north of UCF. So take that BMW to Jerry's, where they treat you and your car like royalty. Visit them at jerrysmb.com or call 407-366-6499. That's 407-366-6499. Jerry's MB is a proud sponsor of the American Adversaries Radio Show.
This is Sunny, the California girl, and I've been around a lot of big, hunky, sexy, tough men. I like men like that, but only when they're brainy, like the American Adversaries. These guys are sexy and smart.
And we're back. And that's our California gorgeous lady of wrestling, Sunny, and she's got her own comic book coming out here in a couple of months. Can't wait to get my hands on a copy. All right, welcome back to the show. You got the American Adversaries here live on a Monday evening. We're coming to you from the Relax and Comfort Studios. Tomorrow night, of course, is Trumpin' Tuesdays, and Trumpin' Tuesdays are brought to us by Sutherland Nissan. When you're in the need or the want of a vehicle, Sutherland Nissan is the place to go. At least give them a try, because they work really, really hard to put you behind the wheel of one of their vehicles at the best deal in town. Sutherland Nissan is located at East Colonial Drive and Chickasaw Trail. The website is orlandonissan.com, or like with all of our sponsors, you can go to our website, americanadversaries.com, and just click on or touch that site, that web, or that that ad, and it'll take you to their website. All right, so that's Sutherland Nissan, orlandonissan.com, Tuesdays, Trumpin' Tuesdays. All right, got Aubrey Kahn along with Nostradamus, John Barros, and myself, Christopher Hart, in the studio. Jeff is on the bridge. 407-774-8255 is the number. I set Nostradamus to the task of finding out a little bit of the background about the FISA court, when it came to be, and that sort of thing. So what have you come up with?
A little background, a little history. The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. Yes, the F stands for foreign, people. Just don't forget that.
Yep.
It was enacted by the 95th U.S. Congress, effective October 25th, 1978. It was introduced on May 18th of 77 by Senator Edward Kennedy of Massachusetts.
No kidding.
It was. It passed the Senate in March 78 by a vote of 95-1. Passed the House.
I wonder who that one was.
I don't know. I'm not going to do the research.
I don't think Rand Paul was around back then.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Passed the House in September
John
that year.
McCain.
Yeah.
The House
Not
vote
likely.
House vote was not as overwhelming, but still 246-128, almost twice as many votes in favor of it as against it. And it was signed into law a few weeks after it was approved by the House.
By Jimmy Carter.
And basically what it is, it establishes procedures for the physical and electronic surveillance and collection of foreign intelligence information between foreign powers and agents of foreign powers suspected of espionage or terrorism. Now, keep this in mind. This was before the Iranian hostage crisis, way before 9/11, before ISIS, before Al-Qaeda, before the Taliban. This was before the internet. It was before hackers. It was before personal computers and cell phones. And it was before all the facial recognition technology we use today. Basically, it was designed originally for wiretapping.
Right.
And it was a way to get to make it legal for the CIA, the FBI, the NSA to monitor telephone and telegraph and mail exchanges between possibly Americans, but it had to include somebody from foreign intelligence. Could mean a person, could mean a government. It just means any faction or foreign nation not substantially composed of U.S. persons.
Right. Let me just give a little sort of historical context here. Right about this time, the phone companies were going to digitalization. They were moving away from the electronic signal. You know, there was electronic signal that went down the line. It wasn't digitalized. So when they went to digitalization, it made it possible for this type of surveillance to be done on a massive scale. As we know, during today's times, and it started back then, they started surveilling every electronic device out there. As you just said, telephones, telegraphs they had back then, and what else?
Once personal computers came into being, emails. But until then, even snail mail, even correspondence in the mail is covered by FISA.
Right. And what instigated this, as I said, was it became so much easier to do. The government needed authorization to do it. In other words, prior to this, it was much more difficult. You had to actually wiretap each line.
And you had to get a court order for each individual line.
Right. And this way, they knew that that was going to be too cumbersome and that the data would be just massively available. And so they needed legislation that allowed them to access it. And so today, the NSA captures believe this or not, but this is the truth. The NSA captures every electronic signal sent in the world. Everyone. What I'm saying right here on the radio, Aubrey's looking at something on his phone. That's being captured right now. If you're on your computer, every electronic signal is being captured, and then they store it. And it's just this massive, what do they call it, metadata. And so then they have to come up with ways to be able to get out of that metadata what you're looking for. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack, but every day the haystack doubles in size.
The good news is there's a lot of information out there. The bad news is it's so massive that it takes a long time to go through.
But
my dad used to work for the New York City Police Department. And one of the things they would do is they would surveil suspected mobsters. And by suspected, I mean everyone knew who the mobsters were.
Right.
But what they had to do was they had to sit outside the place of business or the lounge or the home of a suspected mobster for months before they could bring information to a judge to say, can we wiretap his phone?
Right.
Once they did, they would hook up a reel-to-reel machine to the line, and they would have reels and reels, 8-inch, quarter-inch reel of tape of conversations. And my dad actually let me hear some of those conversations, some of the most boring conversations you would ever want to see. Imagine having to listen through to hours and hours to get one or two things that might be incriminating.
Little nuggets.
Now you don't have to do that.
But what the FISA Act did was, okay, so it was in order to be able to surveil foreign agents, right? Okay. Well, in order to know whether you need to surveil the foreign agent, you need to surveil the foreign agent. That's what you were just saying, right?
Yep.
In order to get the warrant, you had to already go out there and surveil them.
Right.
So what the act does was it allows them to collect the data that they can then surveil to see who they need to surveil.
And what it said was, without a court order, you can do this for a period of 1 year.
Yeah.
After that, you need a court order in order to surveil either a foreign power or an agent of a foreign power. And if someone on the other end of the line happens to be a U.S. citizen or somebody representing someone who's planning on running for the presidency, so be it.
Yeah. But see, the only way to determine if they need to be surveilled is you have to surveil them to determine if they need to be surveilled. And so the FISA Act made that possible. by the collection of all data. You collect all the data, and then you set up a computer program that says, look for this and this, and when you find it, let us know. And by the way, there was, have you ever heard of Operation Able Danger?
I've heard the name, but I have no idea what it is.
Operation Able Danger was run out of MacDill Air Force Base over here in Tampa. And what they did was they took the NSA data and they typed in basically, look for particular words. And prior to 9/11, they had named, I believe it was 2/3 of the hijackers.
Wow.
Able Danger. Okay. And the reason you don't hear about Able Danger is, well, why in the hell didn't they tell somebody is the first question you ask. And they couldn't. That's the answer. The Clinton administration had made it impossible for that information to be exchanged. Okay. And the, yeah.
Yeah, there are so many walls up between the different, the NSA, the CIA, the FBI.
And the second reason you don't hear about Able Danger is they don't want you to know that they did Able Danger and they could do that.
Yeah, but having the names is different from being able to legally detain them, question them,
Well,
or charge them with
what they
anything.
were able to actually determine is that they were here illegally.
So that enough could have been enough to
and that
send
they
them
were
back.
plotting and planning a terrorist act. Able Danger. And the way they did it, once again, was they used the NSA database. And they typed in certain search words, and this is what they came up, and they just kept narrowing it down until they narrowed it down. They even had pictures of the SOBs. Right? So this is what can be done, and this is what the FISA Act enables. How did the FISA court come about? It came about, I take it, to approve these ongoing surveillances.
Yeah, the court was created to oversee requests for surveillance warrants by law enforcement and intelligence agencies. And from its inception from 1979 till 2006, a total of 22,990 applications for warrants were made to the court. 5 were rejected.
5 out of 22,000 plus.
I don't want to call it a rubber stamp, but yeah.
Well,
5.
I think that goes a lot to explain what happened when they went with this bogus dossier to the FISA court. The FISA court said, well,
Sure. Why not?
Where do I sign?
Think it's an issue? Let's do this.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So the FISA court there is basically as a rubber stamp. 5 times out of 22,000. You can't tell me the numbers just don't add up.
Well, how come then now, like Congress is going after President Trump, going to go into all of his tax returns, his business stuff? How is that legal?
That's not part of FISA.
No,
That's
I know,
gonna
but
be a separate investigation.
But he can put a stop to that.
But it is an investigation that it's a continuation of the FISA farce.
Right.
You see, this whole FISA thing was a farce.
Right.
The FISA court has become farcical. For over a year, I've been saying they need to disband the FISA court, do away with the FISA Act, and rewrite it.
But again, like we
to
said
protect actually the Constitution and our constitutional rights.
Like we said about the emergency actions law, the FISA court structure has to be reapproved by the president every year. And it's been approved every year.
That's right.
Including by President Trump.
That's right.
He says that it's a useful tool to gather intelligence about those who would seek to harm the United States.
That's right.
Even Trump, who's now a subject of this, has decided he wants to keep this going.
Ironic, isn't it? Isn't it?
It is.
All right. So that's the story on the FISA court. It legitimized the surveillance of American citizens in order to surveil American citizens and foreign entities.
As long as they're not the ones being surveilled, they can be surveilled as contacting foreign agents or
but once again,
foreign
you
powers.
have to surveil everybody to find out who's contacting the foreign agents. Right? How are you going to know otherwise? They're not going to come and tell you. So this is why I say they monitor. You have to monitor all internet, for instance, all international communications to know who's communicating with Russia, who's communicating with China, who's communicating with Kim Jong-un in North Korea, if there is anybody. So you have to watch everybody to see the few, is what it boils down to, and that's what the FISA law allows. And once again, I'd like to know who that one was that voted against it. All right, we'll take a break and come back. We got some other news for you as well. You are listening to the American Adversaries. Don't forget, 2 weeks from last night, on March the 17th, St. Patrick's Day, we're going to be live doing our Sunday evening 3-hour classic tour from the Tijuana Flats in Winter Springs at the Winter Springs Town Center, and we're going to be doing our karaoke contest. You're going to be there, right, John?
Yeah, I just can't remember my song.
Well, that's okay. It'll be on that thing.
Okay.
You'll see.
Jeff usually reminds me.
We're going to hear it. All right. So we would like you to be there as well. You can be in the contest or just be a member of the audience. It's going to be a hoot. It's going to be a lot of fun. So come out and join us. St. Patrick's Day, Winter Springs, Tijuana Flats in the Winter Springs Town Center right there on 434 in the heart of beautiful Winter Springs. We'll be right back.
FM 105.5, AM 660. The Answer.
Spring is almost here. That means it's time for the 35th annual All British Car Show on Saturday, April 6th, featuring all makes of British cars, both classic and contemporary. Come see these magnificent machines and help judge them at the Pavilions in Central Winds Park in beautiful Winter Springs. Four Rivers Barbecue, Tijuana Flats, and Jeremiah's Ice will provide the food. The cars, judging, vendors, and lots more will provide the fun. And there's a playground for the kids. Admission is free. Saturday, April 6th, 9 to 4. For more info, go to allbritishcarclub.com or Central Florida British Car Club on Facebook.
Well, you've heard the horror stories. The couple comes home from shopping.
Oh my gosh, there's water pouring out of the ceiling fan in the living room. Henry, quick, grab a bucket.
My new wood floors. They're ruined. Gosh, I wish we had this home inspected before we signed on the dotted line.
This is Aubrey Kahn of Firm Foundation Home Inspections. Buying a home is the biggest investment you'll make. You have to know what you're getting into. Henry and June now have a nightmare on their hands. Don't let that happen to you. Call Firm Foundation Home Inspections before you sign on the dotted line. We'll inspect the property from roof to foundation with the latest technology to know if there are any leaks or electrical problems. You'll get a detailed report, and at Firm Foundation, we warranty our work, ensuring your peace of mind.
Don't make that big investment without calling the home inspector that more realtors use. Firm Foundation Home Inspections. Call 321-624-0254 or go online to orlandoshomeinspector.com.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
This is a wonderful world. Don't let those people suffering from motive attribution of symmetry try to tell you otherwise.
They need to listen to this song.
That's right. All right. We're here live in the Relax and Comfort studios. We got a couple other stories for you, but before we get to those, JJ is on the line. Let's take her phone call. Howdy, JJ. How you doing tonight?
Hey, good, guys. That's like one of my most favorite songs ever.
Indeed.
Anyway, I just wanted to say, I'm not, I know I haven't called myself, but other than calling Congress, I mean, shouldn't we be trying to start a campaign to end chain migration and catch and release and anchor babies until the wall is built? I mean, that's what's causing all these caravans, all of the free stuff and rights that they have more than we do.
Right.
Incentivizing them to come here.
Right.
So I'm just calling to encourage people to call Congress, because I don't, other than praying is important, but calling them to bring a bill, change the laws.
Well, I appreciate your thought, your sentiment, but to be honest with you right now, JJ, I think what we need to focus on is 2020 and getting the people in Congress that might actually respond to those phone calls. Because like right now, Val Demings in Central Florida, she's not going to respond. Stephanie Murphy, she's not going to respond. Darren Soto, he's not going to respond. Who else do we have in Central Florida in the House of Representatives? We need to focus on not only reelecting President Trump, but retaking the House of Representatives and try, and this would be a monumental task, to even actually add to seats in the Senate again. And it was going to be extremely difficult because it's sort of reversed. Now the Democrats are in a better position going into the Senate elections than the Republicans. More Republicans will be up for re-election.
It couldn't hurt to flood them with phone calls.
It couldn't hurt, but the bottom line is, we got to have people in there who want to actually solve the problem. And we had in there both Democrats and Republicans who didn't want to solve the problem. We still have Democrats who don't want to solve the problem. A lot of the Republicans who didn't want, they're gone. There's still some left. But we need to load the president up with Republicans who will support him in his agenda because it is pro-America. And that's what they hate about it the most. It's that it really is pro-America. And they don't think that America deserves to be pro-America. We got to be pro-everybody else. And there's something wrong with being pro-America in these people's eyes. Once again, I understand that it's not going to hurt. It doesn't cost anything. And maybe even helps you kind of get something off your chest every now and then. But what we really need is more people in there who think like President Trump, who think like Jim Jordan, who think like Mark Meadows, and who don't think so much like Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell. By the way, I saw this on A&E. They've been doing a couple of specials. They've been doing some new specials. They did a 3-part series on Trump, a biography on him. Last night they did Roger Ailes, and they talked about how Roger Ailes, he was kind of like a kingmaker. He would help people get elected. And a fellow by the name of Judge Mitch McConnell called Roger Ailes when he was first trying to be elected to the Senate. And he kind of didn't know what to do. And at least he was smart enough to call the guy who did and to listen to everything he said. And they talked about this one instance where they wanted, Mitch is kind of stiff and he kind of doesn't look like he really is a regular guy. So they wanted him to be like a regular guy. So they set up this commercial where they had him in a little boat, a little John boat, fishing. And so what they did was they went out, they, got out, they had the cameras set up and everything. So they didn't want to waste time actually fishing. So they stuck a fish on his hook. Okay. And they threw it in the water. And so Mitch is sitting there looking at the camera and he looks over at Roger. He goes, "What am I supposed to do now, Roger?" And Roger Ailes goes, "Reel in the effing fish." Mitch McConnell. He's the leader of the Senate. He didn't know how to be elected. Now, he's been there a long time. He's kind of learned the ropes. But we need people who are staunch supporters of President Trump. And that's what we need the most. JJ, I appreciate you calling. All right. And thanks for working hard out there to make America great again. All right. Nostradamus has got a couple other stories for us here before we wrap things up.
Yeah. Speaking of the Great Lakes, this one on the other side of Lake Ontario. The province of Ontario has decided that in June, all public elementary schools under the jurisdiction of one school district in Ontario will be forced to fly the Rainbow Gay Pride flag to commemorate Pride Month. The Windsor Star reports that the Greater Essex County School District Board handed down the decision during a vote last week. Every board member, except for one, voted in favor of the policy. The board has flown the gay flag at its office in local high schools since 2016. Now they believe it's time to bring it to younger children. Trustee Linda Quinn was the only one who voted against the measure, and she warned that this board could mislead children about gender. The kids are so young, she said, the flag may make them confused. I wonder if we're misleading them about the idea of gender. We want to be careful.
Sounds like somebody has a little bit of common sense anyway.
Well, it looks like they're going to try to run it up the flagpole and see who salutes. Sorry.
By the way, the other day at the CPAC conference, while Sebastian Gorka was doing his show from Radio Row, his show was basically interrupted by some chanting going on there in the sort of the main lobby area there where Radio Row was set up. You know what they were chanting? Gays for Trump, gays for Trump, gays for Trump.
Where was Randy? Where was Randy Ross? Randy, where were you?
Probably leading the chant.
Was he at CPAC?
No, but he'll be here tomorrow.
Okay.
But he is going down to see the president this weekend.
Yeah, going to Mar-a-Lago for a nice little breakfast.
Yeah,
if you have a couple of $1,000 and want to join him.
$2,500.
Yeah.
But today's the last day you can book your seat.
You get in on
Better
the tickets.
get there.
That's right. That's one of these days, John, we're going to put you up down there.
Thank you.
Not this weekend.
Got to scrape up the money first.
That's it. And then you got this story. This has to do with, if you remember, when the New England Patriots won the Super Bowl, they went to the White House and the president served, what was it, Wendy's, McDonald's, and I think KFC and pizza.
No. The national champion Clemson Tiger football team.
Oh, that's right. It was the Clemson Tigers. Right. That's right. And the guys loved it. And they were seen leaving with armfuls of hamburgers.
Well, Trump has had a busy week, from going to Vietnam, coming back from Vietnam, doing the CPAC thing, but he still needed to have lunch today, so he invited the championship football players from North Dakota State to come and celebrate their championship with him.
North Dakota State?
If you don't know who they are, they have won 6 of the last 7 championships in the NCAA football championship subdivision. That's the second tier.
That's where UCF used to be.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's where Alabama fans think UCF should stay. But sorry, they're not. But, the shutdown is over. The government is open. So why not give them, duck confit and filet of salmon with asparagus tips and braised broccoli? No.
And wine sauce or something, yeah.
This is what he decided would be on the menu. It would be some McDonald's, some burgers, Big Macs, some Chick-fil-A's, and a whole bunch of fries. And while he was talking and congratulating the team for playing with passion and love and relentlessly reaching for excellence, while the players were getting ready to reach for all that food, they were like spending their time eyeing the big table full of food rather than paying attention to the president. So when it was finally time, it was like the starting gun at a marathon.
I bet.
Boom, go!
The scent of those the Big Macs wafting around in the room was
I'd go for the Chick-fil-A myself. I love those.
I always loved the quarter pounders myself back in the day. All right, you got one more for you? Got anything else?
I do. You remember our friend Dion Cheney? He was a guest on our show a couple of weeks ago.
We got an event coming up.
Trump Tasmic is coming up in May. Go to Facebook and just type in the word Trump Tasmic with an exclamation point. You'll find out more about it. But a friend of his name is Brian McComb, was jumped by 4 criminals in Phoenix, Arizona, holding his brand new Keep America Great flag. He was in the process of displaying it, had already finished displaying it, and was walking away from the event when 4 folks jumped him. The 4 folks are still at large. They have not found them yet. But our prayers go out to Dion and Brian, because they make themselves a target by what they do. Yeah, you don't have to. What was that thing we were talking about earlier?
Motive, attribution, asymmetry.
Right. We know what those people's motives are, and we know what they're attributing to folks like Dion and Brian.
Yeah, they're a bunch of motive, attribution, asymmetryists. All right. You've been listening to the American Adversaries. Larry Elder up next. We'll be back tomorrow with Trump and Tuesday. Good night, everybody.
News, opinion, passion. FM 105.5, AM 660. The Answer. WORL. Altamont Springs, Orlando. A service of Salem Media Group. It's 7 o'clock.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Ron DeRockstra. The Senate appears poised to pass a bill backed by Democrats that reverses the president's national emergency declaration. Even a handful of Republicans insist the declaration amounts to an overreach by the executive branch. But Tom Fitton with Judicial Watch told the Salem Radio Network he disagrees.
I think $1 billion and change he designated as national emergency funds that he wants to spend. This is a narrow and carefully crafted national emergency declaration. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't go far enough.
Fitton says the president has the discretion to, in his words, shuffle some money around, even without declaring a national emergency. But if that bill reaches the president's desk, Mr. Trump says he has his veto pen at the ready. The Democratic presidential wannabe field continues to grow.
I'm John Hickenlooper. I'm running for president because we're facing a crisis that threatens everything we stand for.
Hickenlooper is the second governor to declare his intentions.
I'm running for president because we need dreamers in Washington, but we also need to get things done.